All right, let's jump right in. We're doing a deep dive today into some actors you might not know yet, but you absolutely should.
Yeah, young Hollywood,
Yeah.
a new generation of talent. And I think what's so interesting about this group is, well, you see, they come from really diverse backgrounds, so many different experiences.
And we're going to see how that all plays into their careers, how they got their start, the kinds of roles they're drawn to, all that.
Exactly. So are we ready to jump in?
Absolutely. Let's start with Rhenzy Feliz. Now, his journey, talk about a story. From New York, multicultural upbringing, all the way to Hollywood.
And I think that upbringing had a huge impact on him. I mean, think about it, exposed to so many different stories, so many different cultures right from the start.
Yeah, you can definitely see that influence in his work. Even early on, I'm thinking of his role in the TV series Casual.
Oh, yeah, good one. Not a huge role, but it gave him a chance to, really explore a character, the complexities of family, relationships, all that.
Exactly. And then, you can't talk about Rhenzy Feliz without talking about Encanto, Camilo, the shapeshifter. That movie was everywhere.
Global phenomenon.
Yeah.
And his performance, wow. Voice acting is a whole other beast, isn't it? You just bring so much to the table just with your voice.
Totally. All those emotions, all those different personalities he had to portray, just with his voice. Amazing.
It really showed his range, I think. And that versatility, you see it again in The Penguin on HBO. Victor, a total different vibe from Encanto. Gritty, intense.
Huge shift from Disney to Gotham. But he nailed it. That internal conflict, the struggle between his ambition and what's right. It's complex.
And working alongside Colin Farrell as the Penguin, that dynamic.
Yeah.
You got to bring your A game.
For sure. It seems like these young actors, they're not just getting cast in any roles. They're getting these really meaty, complex characters driving the story forward.
Absolutely. Like Rhenzy, right? He seems drawn to these roles that challenge him, that make him really dig deep.
Speaking of digging deep, his upcoming role in The Mastermind. Criminal Mastermind. That's a bold choice.
Bold, yeah. And he's really going all in. Studying real-life criminals, the psychology, Plus, I hear the physical training's intense, really transforming himself.
Wow. It could be career-defining.
Yeah.
Or a total flop. But I think that willingness to take risks, that's what makes him so interesting.
Yeah. He's not playing it safe. And that's exciting to see. All right, so we talked about Rhenzy's journey. Let's move on to another rising star, Isabela Merced. Now, she started young, really young.
Yeah, Nickelodeon. 100 Things to Do Before High School. That's got to be a unique experience, starting out like that.
For sure. But I think it gave her this incredible foundation, the comedic timing, the on-screen presence. It's all there from the beginning.
And then Dora and the Lost City of Gold. Talk about a role model. She defied so many stereotypes with that performance.
Yeah, for a lot of young Latinas, seeing themselves represented like that in a big-budget movie, it was huge.
So powerful.
Yeah.
And she's been vocal about that, the importance of representation, not just in front of the camera, but behind it, too.
Absolutely. But she didn't just stick with those family-friendly roles. She jumped into some pretty intense stuff. Sicario, Day of the Soldado, Transformers, The Last Night. Working with some big names in those movies.
That could have gone either way. Getting typecast early on, that's a real risk.
It is.
Yeah.
But I think she chose her roles carefully. Even in those action movies, her characters had depth. It wasn't just about the explosions. It was about the story, the emotion.
That's so important. And then, bam, she's in the Marvel Universe. Madame Web.
Talk about a game changer, that kind of exposure, that fan base. It opened so many doors.
And speaking of doors opening, Superman and The Last of Us Season 2. Big, big projects coming up for her in 2025. That's got to be a lot of pressure.
Oh, for sure. But she seems to be handling it well, staying grounded, focusing on the work.
Yeah. And it seems like she has a good support system around her. That's crucial in this business.
Absolutely. All right, so we've got a former Nickelodeon star who's gone from family-friendly adventures to action flicks to the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
Because she's using her platform to advocate for diversity. Pretty impressive, right?
For sure. And it's interesting. We've seen that commitment to diversity with Rhenzy Feliz, too.
Yeah, they're not just focused on their own success. They want to see the industry change, become more inclusive, more representative.
Love that. All right, let's talk about our third actor, Sophie Thatcher. She kind of came up through the indie film world.
Yeah, her breakout role was in Prospect alongside Pedro Pascal. That film really showcased her talent, I think. A lot of the emotional weight of that story rested on her shoulders.
And then Yellowjackets. That show really blew up, and her performance as teenage Natalie was a big part of why.
Oh, absolutely. That show explored some really dark themes. Trauma, survival, the choices people make under pressure. It was intense. And she nailed it.
She really did. But even with that mainstream success, she's still doing these amazing indie films, working with A24, which is known for its, edgier, more artistic films.
Yeah, Heretic was a good example of that. A horror film. Really unsettling, but so well made. That collaboration with A24, it says something about her commitment to, I don't know, the art of filmmaking, maybe.
Yeah, like she's not just chasing the big blockbuster roles, she's choosing projects that challenge her, that push her creatively.
And you see that in her other roles, too. Maxikeen, The Boogeyman,
Sure.
horror, thriller.
Yeah.
She's not afraid to go there.
It's like she's deliberately choosing projects that will make her a better actor, even if they're not, the typical Hollywood path.
Exactly. That's what makes her so fascinating to watch. You never know what she's going to do next.
All right, so what is next for Sophie Thatcher? We know she's coming back for season 3 of Yellowjackets, but there's also this new sci-fi thriller, Companion.
Ooh, Companion. That one's got me intrigued. All very hush-hush, Not much information out there. But it seems like it deals with artificial intelligence and things going very wrong.
That sounds right up her alley. She's so good at conveying that internal struggle, those moral dilemmas.
Yeah, and in a sci-fi setting where you're dealing with technology, ethics, it could be really powerful. All right, before we move on to our final actor, I want to touch on something. We've talked about diversity with Rhenzy and Isabela, but with Sophie, it's a different kind of diversity. It's about the roles she chooses, the genres she explores.
That's a good point. She's not letting herself be put in a box. She's constantly pushing those boundaries, challenging herself, and I think that's really inspiring.
It is. Okay, are we ready for our final actor?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Welcome back to our deep dive.
Okay, so let's pick up where we left off. Rhenzy Feliz. We were talking about his upcoming role as a criminal mastermind. The mastermind, right. Any more details on that one?
Oh, yeah, there's definitely a lot of buzz about this one. It's, I think, a psychological thriller, if I remember correctly. And Rhenzy's character, well, he's shrouded in mystery. Let's just say that. Lots of secrets.
Intriguing. So what have you heard about the plot?
Art heists, international conspiracies, that kind of thing. High stakes, lots of twists and turns.
Okay, I can see him pulling that off. The sophisticated, cunning type.
He's got the charisma, for sure. But you know what I think is really interesting about this film? It's not just about, who did it and all that. It's about morality.
Right.
Like, what makes someone cross that line? Where's the line between good and evil?
Right. It's not always so clear-cut.
Exactly. And I think that's what drew Rhenzy to this project, that complexity.
It's like he's drawn to these roles that challenge conventional narratives, make the audience think.
Absolutely. Okay, and then there's his passion project, the one based on his own experiences growing up in New York.
Oh, yeah, the series about his family. That's going to be special.
He's talked about how much this project means to him, sharing these stories, these diverse family dynamics. It's something he's really passionate about.
Yeah, it's great to see him taking the initiative, creating opportunities for stories that might not otherwise get told.
For sure. Okay, well, let's talk about Isabela Merced. She's got these 2 massive projects coming up, Superman and The Last of Us Season 2.
Superman first. I'm really curious about this one. We know she's playing a character connected to Superman's origin story.
Right, but there's this rumor going around that she might have superpowers, too.
Ooh, interesting. A Latina superheroine with her own unique powers. I'm here for it.
Me too. It would be so cool to see her character, break those barriers, challenge those traditional power dynamics in the superhero world.
And she's got the talent to pull it off, that mix of vulnerability and strength. She's amazing. Okay, and then The Last of Us. Big shoes to fill there. The first season was a huge hit.
Huge. So what have you heard about her character?
Not a ton. Something about a survivor, a mysterious past, that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah. It sounds like a role that will let her show off her grit, her resilience, which she definitely has.
Yeah. And those relationships, those moral dilemmas in The Last of Us, it's a heavy show.
Heavy, yeah.
Yeah.
But she can handle it. From Dora to Sicario to Transformers, she's not afraid to take on those darker, more intense roles.
So true. All right, let's move on to Sophie Thatcher. We were talking about her new film, Companion.
Oh, yeah. Still super secretive. No one's saying much about it. But that just makes me even more curious. Something about a scientist who makes a discovery. Something groundbreaking, but with terrifying consequences.
Classic sci-fi. That sounds perfect for Sophie. She's amazing at portraying those characters who are grappling with tough choices, those moral gray areas.
Yeah, that internal conflict. And, she's so good at nonverbal communication, too. That look in her eyes, It can say so much.
I can totally see her in this role. It's the kind of film that makes you think, that sticks with you. Like, what are the limits of technology and what are the consequences when we push those boundaries?
Big questions. And that's what I love about Sophie's work. She doesn't shy away from those tough questions. Okay, before we move on to our last actor, I just wanted to mention something. We've talked about Rhenzy and Isabela and their commitment to diversity, right? But with Sophie, it's a different kind of diversity.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, it's not just about representation on screen. It's about the diversity of her roles, the genres she explores. She's not letting herself be limited.
Right, right. She's not afraid to try new things, to go outside of her comfort zone.
Exactly. Okay, are we ready for our last actor? This one's a good one.
I'm all ears.
Iman Vellani.
Oh, wow. Mrs. Marvel. Talk about a dream come true. One minute she's a regular teenager obsessed with Marvel comics. The next she's starring in her own Marvel series.
It really is like a superhero origin story.
Yeah.
And to think she was chosen from an open casting call, thousands of hopefuls, and she got the part.
There must have been something special about her, something that really caught Marvel's eye.
I think it was her authenticity. She wasn't just acting the role, she was embodying it.
Oh.
The fangirl enthusiasm, the awkward charm, the determination. She was Kamala Khan.
And the show was a hit. It brought a fresh perspective to the MCU, a celebration of Pakistani culture, a young superhero who felt real, relatable.
Yeah, she really resonated with audiences, especially young girls. Seeing themselves represented on screen like that, it was powerful.
So powerful. And she's using her platform to speak out about important issues, social justice, representation. She's a role model.
Absolutely. Okay, so what's next for Ms. Marvel? Well, we know she'll be back in the Marvels, teaming up with Brie Larson and Teyonah Parris.
The Marvels. I can't wait for this one. 3 generations of female superheroes. That's going to be epic.
It really is a testament to how the superhero genre is evolving, becoming more inclusive, more diverse.
And to see those 3 actors together, the energy, the chemistry, it's going to be amazing. But you know what I'm really curious about? Iman's ambitions beyond acting. She's talked about wanting to direct, to write.
Yeah, she's got big plans.
Yeah.
And, she's got the talent, the drive, the vision. I can definitely see her behind the camera someday.
That would be amazing. More diverse voices, more unique perspectives in filmmaking. But okay, before we get ahead of ourselves, she's also got this historical drama coming out, The Mughal Legacy. Quite a departure from the MCU.
Yeah, a period piece set in the Mughal Empire.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bold choice, for sure. But it shows that she's not afraid to take risks, to try new things.
And to really stretch herself as an actor. I'm impressed.
Me too. Okay, so we've covered 4 incredible actors today. Rhenzy Feliz, Isabela Merced, Sophie Thatcher, and Iman Vellani. What a talented group.
They're all so different, but they all share this commitment to excellence, to pushing boundaries, to making a difference.
It's inspiring, and it makes me really excited about the future of Hollywood.
Okay, so we've really gotten to know these 4 actors, their journeys, their choices, their passions. It's inspiring stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they're all so different, right? But there's this common thread, this drive to be better, to do better, not just for themselves, but for the industry, for the world.
I love that. So let's take a moment to just appreciate each of them one last time. Rhenzy Feliz, for example. He could easily, stuck with the lighter roles after Encanto, but no, he's taking on this criminal mastermind, pushing himself.
And that's what I admire about him. He's not afraid to be vulnerable, to show those cracks, those flaws in his characters. And that's what makes them so real, so relatable.
Totally. Okay, Isabela Merced. Wow. I mean, she really is a force of nature. From Nickelodeon to Marvel, she's done it all. And she doesn't shy away from those tough roles, those action-packed films.
She's proven she can handle anything you throw at her. Comedy, drama, sci-fi. She's got it all. But for me, it's her commitment to representation that really shines through.
Yeah, she's using her platform to make a real difference, and that's so important. Okay, Sophie Thatcher, she's taken a different path, the indie darling, But she's made some bold choices.
She's not afraid to go to those dark places to explore the messy parts of human nature, and she does it with such nuance, such depth.
And even with the success of Yellowjackets, she's still doing those smaller films, those character-driven stories. That says a lot about her priorities, I think.
It does. It's like she's saying, I'm not just here for the fame. I'm here to tell good stories, to challenge myself, to make art.
And finally, Iman Vellani. What a story. From fangirl to superhero. It's like something out of a comic book.
Right. And she brings that genuine enthusiasm to everything she does. You can tell she loves what she's doing. And that passion, It's contagious.
It really is. And to think, these four actors, they're just getting started. Who knows what they'll achieve in the years to come?
It's an exciting time for Hollywood. A new generation is taking the reins, and they're bringing fresh perspectives, new ideas, a commitment to making the industry a better place.
It's inspiring. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I just want to say keep an eye on these four actors. Their journeys are far from over, and I have a feeling they're going to do some amazing things.
I think so too. Thanks for joining us on this journey. And remember, no matter what your passion is, no matter what your dream is, don't be afraid to go after it. Be bold, be brave, be you.
And keep those creative fires burning.